the straight and down towards turn 1. High speed and heavy braking as they open up and try to make that move immediately.
Kyle Kirkwood with the advantage, but further back they are 3 wide. Looked like Marcus Ericsson jamming his way in there. Alexander Rossi with a really nice move in that light blue and yellow Splenda car.
That's a huge jump from Rossi driving for ECR. You see a pair of McLarens, a trio of McLarens all lined up there, single file, a little bit of a defensive move there, but so far no incident.
Kyle Kirkwood doing exactly what he needed to do off the line there. No incidents between himself and his teammate, he said, as Newgarden has a look up the inside of Dixon, gets that done with a lovely instinctive move on the opening lap.
Scott Dixon was looking pretty defensive on that straightaway. Now he gets challenged again, or is challenging again to the outside as
Rasmussen made a move on the inside of Kiffin Simpson. Big dive as we see now Newgarden trying to defend against Dixon. He's on those harder tires, not able to mount the attack.
a lot of desperation early on if you're 10th or farther back, especially for drivers like Dixon and Newgarden, used to the sharp end of this grid. They know they have to make positions early. Newgarden said that was the goal. Make passes, be aggressive. There's only one option.
Power down out of turn 11, down the long stretch into turn 1. Can he make the move? Can he do what his teammate Scott McLaughlin did just a few corners to go, as now everyone barreling out of pit lane? And these guys with their tires up to temperature, right into the middle of it.
McLaughlin's going to get massively held up here by Ericsson as he gets a little touch there. Newgarden into the back of Herta. Now McLaughlin down the inside. Teammates side by side into 5. This is not a good passing spot.
Oh, Ericsson locks up again. Newgarden now almost spins out, trying to get to the throttle early.
This the difference between tires that are cold, tires that are up to temperature, as Newgarden knows he has to find his way through and does it perfectly, instinctively, and straight away.
Tires are done, fuel is done, Christian Newgarden is out. How does he compare to Dixon?
A little longer than they probably wanted there on the left rear.
Just a small hesitation, but that can mean everything. You're crawling at 45 miles an hour. It's so difficult as a driver to not lose your cool. Off the button now. There goes Palou, so that's an effective third in the race.
Wow.
He's got Rosenquist coming, I think, hard behind him. He's going to have to fight to keep the Meyershank racing machine of Rosenquist behind. He's already now on his gearbox. This is going to be the battle for effectively third.
Rosenquist with tires up to temperature. Will he have a look up the inside like McLaughlin did? Oh, he's close. He's really, really close on this short little run down to the left-hander. Rosenquist chucks it up the inside, says thank you very much, and will disappear off into the distance.
Yeah, he's literally just about to hit his marks. The most important 2 laps of the entire weekend now for Kyle Kirkwood and the Andretti team are literally happening. That in lap, this out lap, slight hiccup there, I would say. But pretty smooth. He's going to hustle as hard as he can down to turn 1 and hopefully get out ahead of the Palou.
Slight delay getting away for Kyle Kirkwood. The gap was half a second that Kirkwood led Palou when Palou came into the pits. Keep your eyes on your race leader exiting pit lane. Keep your eye on that number 10 on the track map, and you'll see the yellow and red DHL car in vision any moment. Running down into turn 1. Who will have the lead of this race? Kirkwood exits. There's Palou.
But we've seen how long it takes these hard tires to come up to temperature. Palou now through turn 1. He's got the bit between his teeth.
Jack talked about the overcut is usually the play here because of this, because it's so narrow. Even if Palou gets to Kirkwood right here, there's really nowhere to get by. Kirkwood has to make sure he doesn't make a mistake right here, exiting turn 5. It looked good.
It's the highest pressure situation for a driver. You're leading the race. You've got almost no grip on those cold tires, but you have to push because there's a 3-time champion breathing down your neck. Kirkwood being faultless so far. Can he hold it down into turn 9?
Brilliant job through 5 corners with Kyle Kirkwood, not making a single mistake.
For the final spot on the podium.
Oh boy.
Lundgaard love to make it back-to-back podium.
Lundgaard looked really, really good coming out of turn 11, but he just doesn't have much push to pass left. Neither does Rosenquist, as it goes to 0. So nothing left to defend with. Here comes Lundgaard.
Shaping him up, goes to the inside.
Out of line. Inside.
Had to do it there, had to get it done, and he executed. Rosie tried to fight it, but just gave him enough room. Heads up driving as both drivers exhausted. Their push to pass on that final attempt there.
Kirkwood told me in the lead up to this season how much he had worked on himself on his body, on his mind over the winter. He was so unhappy not taking home a victory in 2024. He said that was the first thing that he wanted to correct this season. The second was consistency. He has had that for the opening 3 weekends, and here in Long Beach he has been dominant and crushingly perfect. From pole position to the checkered flag, Kyle Kirkwood wins in Long Beach.
Great job.
Up next, it's the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, Sunday, May 4th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
Gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Push to Pass podcast. I am Derik Vance, and you see my co-host right there underneath me. I will introduce all of them if you are new to the show here shortly. Thank you if you are tuning in on YouTube or X or Twitter, depending on what generation that you grew up in, and then also too over on Instagram. Let's not forget those as well. If you are watching the show live, please like and share the podcast. We definitely have a lot to go over, but before we get in and dissect what we observed this weekend on the streets of Long Beach for the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. Let's preview tonight's show. Obviously, just as I discussed, we are going to discuss and dissect what we witnessed there on Sunday. We'll go over my 5 takeaways, and obviously I can't wait to hear what Josh and Michael's opinion are on those. I'm sure they're going to differ as we go through that. Also, too, we have a couple driver interviews from all 3 podium finishers: Christian Lundgaard, Alex Palou, and race winner Kyle Kirkwood. That's kind of weird to say, especially the way the first 2 races have gone this year. We'll go over the results from the other drivers in case you missed them. I don't know if he has them prepared or not, but Michael does the article winners and losers from each race. So if he has those prepared or has an idea as to what those are going to look like, he'll go over those. We'll show you the up-to-date point standings. And then I know everyone's sitting on the edge of their seat for our race picks because we're so great at picking the race winners week in and week out. And then also to just actually added earlier today, we do have a special guest that's going to join us towards the bottom half of the hour. If you watch Speed Freaks, and I don't know how many people that are watching the show do watch Speed Freaks, but Crash Gladys, yes, that is her name. I had to look that up too. But Crash Gladys, co-host of Speed Freaks, who, believe it or not, is an Indianapolis native, currently living out in Arizona, is going to be joining us at the bottom half of the hour to talk Long Beach as well. And then we do have some news and notes to go over from last week, and actually from earlier today, the TV ratings came out for the Long Beach race. We can discuss them before we put a big checkered flag on this episode. But a lot to get to, so let's get into it. Like I said, co-host of the show there, Josh and Michael, first and foremost. Josh, how is your Tuesday evening?
So far, so good. Had dinner, got the kid taken care of upstairs, and now we're here to talk about some racing. This was an exciting race, even though we didn't have any yellow flags. It was still an exciting race and unexpected ending for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I texted our tech group there and called the shot. Thought it was going to be Palou for the back-to-back, but it just was not going to be. We'll get into that. But first, Michael, how's your Tuesday evening as well?
Well, slightly chaotic right before the show, but week's been pretty good so far. We'll just see. Glad to talk IndyCar tonight with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad that we got through this. I know we are sneaking just ever so closer to the, we can basically see it on the calendar. I know all three of us did get our emails this week, or last week rather, approved for media credentials. So definitely exciting news there. Obviously, that tells us the month of May is just a few weeks in front of us, but I know we do have one more race coming up before we do hit the month of May. But before we talk about that, let's dig into, like you just said there, the race that we witnessed this past weekend, the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. A lot to break down, a lot to discuss here. So let's get into it. First, we'll go over my takeaways. If you're new to the show, what I do is I will do a 5 takeaways, and that'll be published on the Push to Pass podcast website that you see scrolling down at the bottom from time to time. And then also, too, if you go over to yournews.com in the auto racing section, you'll find those takeaways there as well. So my first takeaway, number 5, and this is going to be Josh's favorite, just a caveat. This is definitely going to be Josh's favorite, but number 5 was tire strategy. If you're a race fan and specifically as Josh is a fan of strategy and tire strategy, well, this past Sunday's race was definitely up your alley. Out of the 27 cars that were on the grid on Sunday, 21 of them started out on the alternative strategy, which I know, Michael can talk a little bit more about. The alternative strategy is the green tire that you see right there on screen, or the Yuli tire, which is a plant-based tire for all you hippies out there. But and then just 6 cars started on the hard tire, which is the black tire behind there. And oddly enough, 2 of the 3 podium finishers did start out on the alternative Yuli tire that you see there. And then also keep in mind, too, when we go over the results, you're going to see some names up front or in the top 10 that you're not used to seeing. Well, that's because they hit on their tire strategy, which I thought kept them a contender all day, specifically Josh's favorite Stingray Robb, who scored his highest finish in his IndyCar career, but we'll get to that here shortly. But fellas, I thought tire strategy definitely played a huge role in Sunday's race. Kind of curious to hear your guys' input on that.
Definitely. As much as I didn't like the tire talk all last year, it's starting to grow on me just because that's what they consistently talk about most of the time. Who's on the greens, who's on the reds, who has to fill their quota of running both compounds. Like I told you guys on Sunday, Stingray was the last one, I believe, to run that soft. He was the last one to fulfill his requirement to run both compounds, and I think that strategy helped out and got him into a top 10 finish. So it's interesting, green, red. I'd be interested if we could ever get a high-ranking official on from IndyCar to figure out why they force, or if maybe one of you guys know, maybe Michael knows, why they force them to run both tires. Is it a promotional thing? I don't think they sell these plant-based tires out in the real world, but it's interesting. It's an interesting topic, and it's starting to grow on me. So it was definitely interesting to see the strategies again.
Yes, Josh, your favorite topic, tires. I actually enjoyed this race. I love pure racing with strategy. The 2 tire compounds just throws kind of a wrench sometimes into things. The 2 tire compounds, the softer, the harder tires. I honestly thought it would be more of a softer race than it was. So the sun really helped bring the harder tire and made it last longer. So yeah, a very interesting race with the tire compounds for sure. But the green sidewall tires, they have that softness to them. So they don't last as long, and they're faster. So, at the end of the day, with Stingray on that soft tire at the end with that shorter stint, that's really what kept him in the game. And yeah, career best finish for him was good.
Yeah, oops. There we go. Let's try that. Yeah, definitely the tire strategy helped a lot of drivers, specifically, as Mike just pointed out there. Stingray Robin will show you where he ended up finishing, collecting his best finish in his young IndyCar career. If you're reading Josh's nameplate there underneath his name, that is the next takeaway that I had from this race, and it's definitely not what you're seeing there on screen there. Let's see if I can fix this. There we go. No cautions. 0 cautions for the second straight race. I know a lot of people tune in, obviously, to see crashes and to see yellow flags, and I know there's others that tune in just to see racing, and hopefully they don't see any of that. But can you believe, guys, that it has been 42 days and 249 green flag laps without a single caution? If you remember correctly, the last time the caution flag did wave during an IndyCar race was lap 6 at the season opener in St. Petersburg, which seems like many moons ago to some of us, and we've discussed as to why that is in earlier episodes. And the last time that the NTT IndyCar Series has gone 3 races with just 1 caution, you got to go all the way back, and none of us were alive. Maybe Mark Hubbard may have been the only one alive particularly, but 1976 was the last time that the IndyCar went 3 races with just 1 caution. And then a side note for the Long Beach race this past weekend, the last time that a Long Beach race went caution-free was all the way back in 2016. So definitely love that there are little to no cautions as we are now 3 races into the 2025 season.
Yeah, definitely. It was. It makes for a quick race. It also makes the team makes the teams have to strategize a lot more. Going without a caution. There's always that chance, but do I pit now? Do I pit later? If I pit now and then somebody and there happens a caution come out, I'm in a good position. But if I pit too early and there's no caution and my tires run out, it factors into it. So it is amazing the fact that we've gone this many laps without a caution. All the drivers are obviously learn from the first race. You can't win it on the first lap, but you can lose it on the first 6 laps. So interesting to see as we go in here in a couple weeks to Alabama and see how Barber goes. See if we can continue the streak.
Yeah, from a purist standpoint, it's great when there's no cautions. You get that strategy, you get fast races, but the cautions help as well with strategy. So at the end of the day, you have the best drivers in open wheel in America driving these cars. And there's not very many mechanical issues right now. It's early in the season. So, you get 5, 6, 7 races in, and we have, after Indy, and we have, a lot of miles on engines and things like that. You might see some failures and things like that. So at the beginning of the year, you normally get the random spin outs and things like that. And obviously we had the 3-car pile up on lap 1 at St. Pete. But yeah, it's been pretty clean racing. It's good racing too. You get to see, and sometimes, and it's hard for TV, but the people at the racetrack are seeing some great battles that maybe the viewers on TV aren't seeing. So those are the things that, we don't get to see so much on TV, that the people at the track are getting spoiled with great racing. And TV does do a great job for the most part, but there are some things that are missed when you're watching on TV. So the at track attendance is always good when there's battles that you can't see on TV.
Definitely, both good points there. But yeah, it doesn't. It beats going there and seeing it live compared to watching it on TV. There, as Mike illustrated too. Next point that I have, our next takeaway, I guess, from this past weekend's race, obviously has to do with Honda. The podium finish 1-2. It could have been 1, 2, and 3 if it wasn't for the Arrow McLaren driver Christian Lundgaard, but Honda, obviously considering Long Beach their home track, so to say, and it just seemed like, to me anyway, that the Honda drivers didn't disappoint. Like I said, taking 2 of the 3 podium spots, had the potential to take all 3, but Felix Rosenqvist just couldn't hang on there at the end. Out of 90 laps that ran during Sunday's race, a Honda driver led 52 of them, so over half of those laps were led by Honda drivers. And then also too with Honda, Andretti Global, they were able to secure their 75th win as a NTT IndyCar team. And then also too on the Honda side with Alex Palou finishing second in the number 10 DHL Honda for Chip Ganassi Racing. He grabbed his, this is astonishing, Alex Palou grabbed his 46th, ladies and gentlemen, 46th top 5 and his 3rd straight podium finish since 2023. And then keep in mind, some people do pay attention to the manufacturers championship point standings. After 3 races, Honda holds a 278 to 209 lead over Chevrolet in those standings as well. So Honda, I thought, had a strong showing on Sunday, finishing 1-2, and then also they had the potential if Rosenqvist could have hung on to finish 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, pretty dominant weekend for the Hondas. I tend to see a trend if like you said, Long Beach is known as a Honda track. When we here in probably about a month or so, when we head to Detroit, the Chevys will be looked upon to be the dominant. So it's interesting depending upon the tracks and what manufacturer seems to dominate. So great weekend for Honda. If it could have gone 1, 2, 3, that would have been even better for them. But I'm guarantee you they'll accept the 1st and 2nd podium spot of the weekend.
Yeah, last week when we were talking with Mike, our betting expert, I mentioned Honda, and it was not surprising that Honda did as well as they did. They normally do very well at Long Beach. I'm not sure why that is, but it seems that Honda does very well there on the streets of Long Beach. And for Palou, I mean, the guy is just phenomenal. I mean, he's very consistent. He doesn't normally put his car in dangerous positions, and it shows. I mean, there's a reason he's a 3-time champ, the points leader. I mean, we've talked about it multiple times already, but as early a start as he's had, it could be a good runaway for him come the end of May, beginning of June. So we really have to keep an eye on him for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, he's not able to put this in the bag so early, but the way he's been dominant these first 3 races, it may be trending that way. 4th takeaway from Sunday's race, I thought the effort in not only Christian Lundgaard in the number 7 Arrow McLaren Chevrolet put in, but kudos to his whole team, his whole crew. Obviously, like I mentioned before, if it wasn't for him, Honda would have swept all 3 podium spots. But here's where the credit comes in, not only to Lundgaard, but to his crew. If you weren't paying attention to qualifying on Saturday, well, shame on you for that, for one. But 2, his crew had to basically rebuild a torn-up machine due to a qualifying wreck on Saturday that put him in 12th position. So already behind the 8 ball, P12 to start the race, and he ends up coming home on the podium, finishing third. So huge kudos not only to Christian Lundgaard, obviously, for that drive, which may give him a lot of momentum coming into Barber, coming into Indianapolis, etc. But huge kudos to his team for getting that race car rebuilt and giving him enough of a race car to get him a top 3 finish. This is Christian's first back-to-back podium finish in his career, and it is his ninth top 5 and ninth career top 5. And then when you go over the point standings, this the start that Christian's off to has him all the way up to third in points. So huge day there. Sunday, not only for Christian Lundgaard, but for his team as well.
Yeah, definitely for great showing for Arrow. Lundgaard is quickly starting to kind of put his teammate Pato Award in the rearview mirror as how successful he's doing for Arrow. Could we see him become the new face of Arrow outside of and dethrone Pato? I mean, we came into this season thinking Pato was going to have a fantastic year, and Christian is just seeming to take the thunder away from Pato. Pato's got to do something to figure out what he can do to keep up there and not only help his teammate do better, but figure out how he can do better. So congrats to Christian and congrats to that team on getting that car fixed and ready for Sunday.
Yeah. First and foremost, we want to, I mean, it's been a hard week in motorsports for losses. John Edwards was a big part of the Kyle Larson and Arrow McLaren partnership last year, and I know Arrow McLaren memorized him this weekend as a tribute. So at the end of the day, it's a hard loss for more of Hendrick Motorsports. But with Christian Lundgaard and his team having to rebuild that car from the tub up is incredible. I know I talked a lot about Christian and his abilities, the effort he put in at RLL the last couple years to improve that team's performance on road and street courses. It's just crazy. And I think for sure him coming to, I don't want to have any disrespect to RLL, but McLaren has a lot of money put into that team. So that they do have better equipment. So the speed he's showing for sure, Pato's definitely got to be, on his toes, because Lundgaard is definitely working to build his name, and sitting third in the points, that's a good way to do it. Being consistent, being up there in the top 5, being on TV quite a bit, that's going to help out quite a bit.
Michael, an interesting point you brought up about the loss of John Edwards over the weekend, because that was the first thing, or the first statement out of Lundgaard's mouth after the race. He was quoted in saying, quote, "I think this one is dedicated to the team. It's dedicated to John Edwards, the entire team, everything they did overnight to get what they call the old lady back on track." So yeah, definitely a valid point there. Huge loss felt by not only the Arrow McLaren team, but as you said, Kyle Larson in Hendrick Motorsports over on the NASCAR side as well. Last takeaway that I have, obviously, the guy that was able to rein in Alex Palou, or like I said, slay Palou Mountain, Kyle Kirkwood. If you can think about this for a minute, before Kyle Kirkwood in the number 27 prefab Honda for Andretti Global was able to climb and reach the top of Palou Mountain on Sunday and end the 3-time NTT IndyCar Series champions winning streak to the start of the season at 2, it had been an astonishing 6 months and 29 days since someone other than Alex Palou had won an IndyCar race, and that was the end of the 2024 season when Colton Herta won in Nashville. So 6 months and almost 7 months have gone by since someone other than Alex Palou won a NTT IndyCar race. After such a dominating performance by Kirkwood, who, again, if you think back, he started from the pole for the third time in his career, led a race high 46 of 90 laps. This was Kirkwood's third win of his career, second on a road course, and his fourth career podium. So I think one does have to wonder now, with the momentum Kirkwood gained from such a dominating performance on Sunday, is this somebody to watch out for going forward and could threaten Alex Palou's three-peat chances, with Kirkwood now sitting second in the points?
It's a possibility. I will say I thought Palou was going to be able to chase him down, just because Palou's proven to be a superior driver to most all of IndyCar, but Kirkwood just slowly but steadily just pulled away. I mean, it started out as a 1 and a half second lead, and I think he expanded it all the way out to almost 4 seconds before at the checkered flag. So I think having Kirkwood being able to be out front a lot and not have to use as much push to pass, he was able to save. I think at one point he had more than about 30 more seconds than Palou did. So that was a big help to him holding off Palou, because he knew Palou was only going to have so many seconds left of push to pass, and if he just bided his time and kept going, that he was going to win. So look out for Kyle Kirkwood. He could, or this could just be a one-off, and he could fall back to the back again. We occasionally have the Andretti cars. One of them will come out and win a race and look like Andretti's back, and then the next race we're like, well, where do the Andretti's go? They had such a great week the race before, and now they're gone. So it'll be interesting to see where Kirkwood goes from here.
Yeah, Josh, you make some great points. For me, I think overall, Andretti's got to find more speed overall. I think a lot of teams have to find more speed overall to keep up with Palou. But great win for Kirkwood. A lot of people have put a lot of trust and faith in him to be a good driver, and he's showing at times he can be, and he can lead a team. At other times, it's kind of like, where is he? So for him to, set on a pole, we talked about that last week. Whoever gets in the top 5 has a good shot of winning the race. So pole position means quite a bit. Great execution on pit road with the race being green. You have to have those good, pit stops, good execution. So all around, A+ for the whole team at Andretti Global for this weekend for Kirkwood's car at least. And yet again, could he be a factor? Yeah, absolutely. But right now it's just like Andretti's got to find speed overall in their entire organization.
Yeah, definitely valid points by both Josh and Michael for sure. Before we get into the results from Sunday's race, let's hear from the 3 podium winners or podium drivers. First, third place, Christian Lundgaard.
It's back-to-back podiums now for Christian Lundgaard. He goes from 12th to 3rd, and you were the highest starter starting on the harder compound. Seemed to work pretty well. What made it work for you?
This one's dedicated to the crew. I think everybody on the number 7 Velo Aero McLaren Chevrolet got to rebuild the car yesterday. I topped the car in the crash in qualifying. This is to them. It's to John Edwards, who unfortunately passed away, close to Carl Larson, who will join us for the month of May. So this one's to everybody on the entire Aero McLaren team.
You had a big-time overtake at the end of the race, getting past Felix Rosenqvist. It's tough to pass here. How did you get that done?
It's funny because I was on lap 42 and I saw I had 109 seconds left, and then I forgot about it. I forgot about my overtake, so I think that paid dividends at the end of the race, and we're able to get Felix there. I think he was being nice at the end there in turn 1, but I'm just proud to get this one for the team. This is the work that they put in yesterday. I told him I'll buy them a couple of beers when we got home next week, but I think giving them a trophy is good on top of that too.
Well done. Christian Lundgaard is third in the championship now. Hey, you're not done. Go celebrate. Get on that podium. It's about time for that.
Next, we'll hear from Alex Palou.
The reigning IndyCar champion, Alex Palou. You're starting the season, 2 wins and a second. You've got to be happy with this, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you never feel amazing when you finish second, but honestly, the 27 car, Kyle, they were amazing all weekend, super fast. I tried my chances, but we couldn't really make it work. Had a really bad start on my side, and that kind of put us in the back foot. But anyway, I think we did the best we could. Amazing to be here second, but hopefully next year we can just improve one step.
And your family are here, your mum, your dad, your sister. It was so cool getting to see you celebrate with them. Just say what that support means to you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't get to see them very, very often, living in the States, and they're still in Spain. But yeah, it's amazing. It's been 4 months since I've seen them. And for me to get them a podium, it's good. And I cannot wait for them to meet my daughter on Monday. So, yeah.
Lastly, we'll hear from race winner Kyle Kirkwood.
And he's at least had one teammate down here to greet him. Kyle Kirkwood is getting used to victory lane at Long Beach. 2 of his 3 wins, all 3 on street courses. And Kyle, you've just beaten the driver that some started to wonder if he was beatable at all. How did you hold off Alex Palou after your last stop and you came out right in front of him on cold tires?
I tell you what, he didn't make it easy on us. I mean, hats off to Prefab Honda today. Hey,
good job, brother.
Dude, huge one. Excuse his language. I mean, what a great day. We controlled the race from practice, right? I mean, we felt like we were in control. Really good qualifying, amazing race, amazing strategy, but it was just execution all across the board is what won us that race here today. Because if Palou was in front, he would have beat us for sure. This was a track position race here today without any yellows. And, I mean, hats off to the Prefab Honda Andretti guys. Amazing job. And this is our coast-to-coast weekend with Andretti and TWG Motorsports. And to finish it off with a win, man, that is so cool, so cool. So hats off to the entire organization. They really deserve this one.
And you're second in the championship now. Is the 27 team coming?
Oh, we're trying. I said that before this weekend. This is where we turn it around. And, you know, we're super happy with this win, but we're also upset that Palou finished second, right? Like, we need to start getting more of these. That's the only way to beat him. So we're going to reflect on this one, soak in this win, and then straight into Barber, where hopefully we can do this all over again. But this is a good one. It's been a long time. I had a drought last year of no wins, and this is huge for me, huge for my morale, huge for the 27 crew, huge for Honda. 50th Grand Prix here at Long Beach, right? And to win it in a Honda, the Acura Grand Prix is huge.
And a 2-time winner here in the streets of Long Beach, and the team is here. Go celebrate. Kyle Kirkwood wins again.
Yes, Kyle Kirkwood does slay the Palou Mountain, like I said, and pull off Sunday's win there at Long Beach. Before we bring in our guests, let's hit the results from the race here, and then we'll get everyone's take on somebody that they were surprised to see where they finished on Sunday. But obviously, like I said, the winner was Kyle Kirkwood, followed by Alex Palou and Christian Lundgaard. Then it was Felix Rosenquist, Will Power, Scott McLaughlin, Colton Herta, Scott Dixon, Stingray Robb, and Kiffin Simpson rounded out the top 10. Then Santino Ferrucci, Marcus Ericsson, Pato Award, Marcus Armstrong, Alexander Rossi, Louis Foster, David Malukas, Robert Schwartzman, Renus VK, and Nolan Siegel round out at the top 20. Then to finish, Callum Ilott, Graham Rahal, Christian Rasmussen, Devlin DeFrancesco, Connor Daly, Jacob Abel, and surprisingly, Joseph Newgarden, a Penske car, finishing dead last. Fellas, before we get to our guest, somebody that stuck out to you on their finish there on Sunday.
Stingray. Best finish he's had in his career. I think it may have tied his best finish, but never giving up on Stingray. He is the future of IndyCar, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was excited to see Stingray up there, but the one for me is Joseph Newgarden, and unfortunately, it's something out of his control, out of the team's control. It sounds like one of his safety belts come loose, and when you're driving that fast, you should probably have all those secured. And they talked about that on the broadcast, and just kind of a crappy situation for him. But, he was strong before that, so poor finish, but fast car, so. Can't fault anything other than a loose seatbelt.
I am going to agree with Josh here. Surprised at the finish Stingray Rob had. I thought he hit it. I thought him and his race strategist hit it out of the park on tire strategy. But there's one thing that I'm going to disagree with Josh on. The future of the NTT IndyCar Series, Stingray Rob, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. Remains to be seen, as they do say in the sports scene. But you know what, though? Josh is a huge dreamer, so I'm going to allow him to continue to dream like that. It is time, as I said, a late addition to the show today, but was able to reach out to this individual, and so glad that she is going to take a little bit of time out of her busy schedule to join us. Definitely a pleasure and more importantly, honor to have. And yes, as I said earlier, this name is one of the coolest names, I think, when it comes to podcasts or TV shows of any type of racing. But Crash Gladys, yes. If you check her out on Twitter, as you'll see, her Twitter link is going to be down here at the bottom. Go check her out. Go give her a follow. Co-host of Speed Freaks. Didn't know until reading her bio that she is a Indianapolis native, but unfortunately she is headed out west a little bit to Arizona. But nonetheless, Crash, again, first and foremost, welcome to the Push to Pass podcast, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Excuse the late sunset here going on in Arizona as my lighting is all wacky right now. But hey, anytime I can join a group from my hometown of Indianapolis, I am stoked. And if we're talking IndyCar, I'm even more stoked. So yeah, a little bit about me. Been involved in motorsports basically since I was a fetus. My father was one of the motorsports directors in the 60s and 70s at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And so, yeah, from the time I popped out of my mama, I was in that infield. And no, not the snake pit at that early, ripe age. But I've been around that daggone track since I was a baby. It is no joke. And it, like everybody says, it gets in your blood early. I've been bleeding ethanol since I was 1. So, well, actually, that was methanol back then. Actually, it was even a burning fuel at that point. So, yeah. Again, things have changed, and thank goodness for those changes. But IndyCar is my absolute passion. I cover all forms of motorsports. We do it on Speed Freaks every Sunday night on social, and then every Monday on the Racer Network, since Racer just bought MAV TV. So you can catch us twice on TV on Mondays. But IndyCar is my jam. So when you guys reached out this morning, I'm like, yes, let me just check my schedule. But yes, let's make this work.
Definitely glad to have you. Glad to have someone else on here that loves IndyCar as much as all three of us. And before we get into Long Beach, like I said, you being a Indianapolis native, I have to know, growing up out at the track, what is your fondest memory going out to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
It has to be the mud race. Well, it obviously wasn't muddy everywhere except for the snake pit, everywhere all over the infield. It has to be the 1990 race. I had just come back from my freshman year in college, and a bunch of us had decided, not 1990. What am I thinking? 1991. And we decided we're going to give the snake pit a try. We've done seats just about everywhere, but this time was the snake pit. It had stormed like crazy in the days leading up to it. And I witnessed lots of things falling off of large vans and just plopping into these mud lakes. And I've never been, probably to this day, never been that dirty in my entire life. Mud in every orifice, but it was such a blast. That's why I'm telling you guys about it right now. There are certain things I cannot tell but it was such a blast. And I was like, that's it. I've loved this sport since I was a kid, but I got to find a way to get a job in the sport. And so, yeah, the search went on from that point.
Being, again, let me rephrase that. Never watching a race from the snake pit, observing it from afar. I definitely can understand exactly what you're talking about there, and I think all of us actually know what you're talking about there. But it is definitely tamed down over the years a little bit, to say the least. But let's get into Long Beach. I know that's what we've been discussing here on tonight's episode. Kind of curious to get your overall thoughts on what you thought the Long Beach race was like, and then IndyCar. Obviously, we're only 3 races in, but kind of curious to get your thoughts on what the season is going to hold with about 14 races left to go.
Yeah, it's odd to think that we have just a small sample size to work with right now, being just 3 races into the season, yet opinions that are larger than we've ever witnessed in at least the last 20 years of IndyCar. So yeah, there's lots of things we can discuss there. Regarding Long Beach, I was in Los Angeles. I lived there for 15 years and would constantly make Long Beach a staple. When I worked with a couple of IndyCar teams in the mid-90s, Long Beach was one of my favorite races to go to. So I've seen it from different perspectives, as a fan, as a team member, a crew member, as a media. And it's always had a vibe to it. It's always been just a bucket list event. You got to go, whether you like racing or not. The convention center is always loaded with a ton of fun things to do. Parties are everywhere, whether you're over on some boats or you're over on some of the restaurants on the dock, or you're in the hospitality area, or you're back up a couple of streets and just partying in hotels. I mean, there's always something to do at Long Beach, which has been part of the attraction. You don't have to be a motorhead to go there. But you hope that Long Beach turns into one of those events that you bring somebody new and then they stumble on the race and then they love it and they want to become a fan for eternity. And that has been Long Beach for a while, until maybe about 10 years ago or so. And it just kind of became another race on the schedule. And I can't explain why, but it just kind of was that. And then COVID did not help anything. But it's been having a little bit of a comeback since COVID. I went back again last year. Now I'm in Phoenix, so I flew back again last year to cover it as media, and I was impressed. But what struck me covering it last year, the 49th event, was, oh, why are all these people in Formula One crew shirts? Oh, I don't like this. Where's my IndyCar fan base? Or where's at least my party fan base that I'm used to at this event? So coming back this year for the 50th, I was pleasantly surprised that the Formula One shirts were not as popular as they were last year. And I saw people in actual IndyCar shirts. And that was such a relief to me. Plus, the crowd had a bigger vibe than I had remembered in the past. And as we saw from the attendance numbers that were released today, they eclipsed 200,000. Massive win for the series, for Penske Entertainment in general. And so, yeah, I'm feeling good about all those things. But damn those TV numbers. Oh, my gosh. And if we want to get into the TV conversation, I don't want to hear the excuses of don't go up against the Masters. This Long Beach Grand Prix has gone up against the Masters, the finish of the Masters, for many, many years. That's not the underlying issue. The underlying issue, in my opinion, is we are not getting the stories of these personalities out. We have some of the greatest driver personalities in the IndyCar paddock, and it's not getting out to mainstream sports viewers. It's not getting out to people that are just racing fans in general, that are still glued to a Bristol race that was an absolute snooze fest. Sorry, NASCAR fans, I'm just going to call it out. Or to Bahrain that really didn't have anything to write home about in the Formula One sphere. So guys, why are those races attracting eyeballs on TV, yet Long Beach with a massive vibe, 50th anniversary, amazing personalities, and some pretty wicked strategies on track too? Why is that not eclipsing eyeballs? Why? It blows my mind. So yeah, if we want to talk about that, let's go.
Oh boy, we could be in for a long show if we're going to talk about TV, because we have hit that so hard in previous episodes, from the gap from St. Petersburg to thermal, why that is. I mean, we've covered the TV aspect of things left and right, and I know that's going to be in our news. But you said the TV numbers. Now you first on the the visitors. And I did see that Long Beach, if I remember right, did set a new attendance record, if memory serves me correctly, for the amount of people that did go this week. But still, though, IndyCar is still in the middle of the pack when it comes to the main Fox station, and NASCAR is on FS1, and NASCAR is picking up more viewers. So we're all kind of trying to figure out now how we can get more eyeballs on this product now, with Fox obviously doing a tremendous job in marketing this compared to what NBC did. But still, it seems like IndyCar is still stuck in that rut when it comes to viewership, especially on the TV side of things.
It is mind-blowing. Fox spent millions upon millions of dollars for mailer ads for the TV commercials that we all love because they are so outside the box thinking. And they ran during the freaking Super Bowl and before and leading into the St. Pete race. So count me as one of those people that when I saw the TV number from St. Pete, I wasn't really that excited because you have additional exposure that you have not had in past years. Thank you, Fox. Massive exposure, yet it didn't translate to a number that was really any higher than what has been achieved in the past for St. Pete. I was truly expecting it to be closer to the 2 million mark. Again, why? Because you did something different. Fox did something different. It didn't translate. So then fast forward to thermal, fast forward again to what we just had this past weekend at Long Beach. The translation is still not going through. So it goes back to, okay, we got to start, wipe the whiteboard, start over again and figure out how to tell stories. Stories are what sell people to go want to manually tune into something that maybe they haven't seen before, or they're at least, they know about it. They know about IndyCar because they're a NASCAR fan. They know about IndyCar because they're an NHRA fan, but give them a reason to actually tune in. We got to be telling stories. I mean, we don't have a reality show right now. We don't have Drive to Survive that is helping to filter that tune-in base. So, yeah, it's mind-boggling. IndyCar itself. Hi, Roger. Hi, Mark Miles. You guys, I'm talking to you directly. You've got to spend money. Fox can't do this on their own. You guys have a purse that you can work with. You're just not willing to spend it. Why? We as fans, as media, kind of want to know why now. You don't have to be transparent with us if you don't want to, but we're all throwing our hands up in the air going, we know that you can get better numbers than this. Why are you not?
That may be the $1 million question, and hopefully we get an answer sooner rather than later. But I know Josh and Michael are both have to be chomping at the bit to ask some questions. So Josh or Michael, the floor is yours.
Mike, why don't you go ahead and ask the first questions?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for coming on and joining us this evening. I'm one of those NASCAR fans that tune into both races, actually all three races. So I got numbers in all three categories. But you know, when I look at all three races this weekend, the IndyCar race was the best of the three. And I think you're correct. How do we get these stories out there? You know, Formula One does have Drive to Survive, which really helped boost their audience here in the United States. And IndyCar had the 100 Days to Indy, but was it enough? And why was it not on some sort of streaming platform as well as TV? So those are things that could help boost eyeballs on the series. But I'm wondering on your end or your side what your thoughts are with bouncing around between FS1, FS2, and regular Fox for the viewer.
So you're referring to qualifying practices
Yes.
and then the race. Personally, I don't see a big issue with that because of the race consistently being on Big Boy Fox. But yeah, I can see for people that are just trying to find content and expecting it to constantly be on one channel only, it could be a little frustrating. But I don't think that has anything to do with Sunday numbers. And ultimately, you got to build your Sunday numbers before you build your Friday and Saturday numbers. So you're going to get your diehards on Friday and Saturday. They're going to be low numbers, and that's okay. Sunday is what matters. That number has to see a consistent increase upward, and we're not getting that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And then the next question I have for you is, when we had NBC, we had Peacock, and I feel like those numbers were kind of transparent, and they let those numbers out together. And Fox doesn't have that avenue, and a lot of people don't have access to Fox for whatever reason. I've seen all sorts of excuses. Is it time for IndyCar to kind of push Fox? And I know there's been a lot of talks on this, but is it time for Fox to have their own streaming platform? I think every other major network has one.
Absolutely. But I don't think that's the problem with IndyCar numbers right now. And we've seen Fox has gone through some issues with the whole streaming platform, service, whatever you want to call it. And they've tried. But again, I don't think that equates to IndyCar's issue on Sundays and just viewer numbers and race numbers, because it's the same thing with NASCAR and FS1. It's the same thing with NHRA and FS1 or NHRA and FS2. NHRA and NASCAR on different platforms, not Big Daddy, even without streaming, are still pulling bigger numbers too. So that's why essentially I feel it comes back down to giving people a reason to tune in. And did those commercials do it for St. Pete? Arguably, yes. But nothing has done it for Thermal or Long Beach. And with Long Beach being an anniversary event and pulling people in person, awesome. But massive fail that it did not equate to TV. And again, I don't want the Masters excuse. And I really don't want the streaming excuse, because you could say the same for NASCAR. You could say the same for NHRA, but both of them did fine.
Yeah. The last question I have for you is, you talk about going to, being at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and things like that. What is your other favorite track to attend?
Laguna Seca. I love Laguna Seca. I mean, you've got such a great area of the country in Laguna Seca, some of the greatest coastline right there. Not gonna lie, I'm a fan of wine. So you got some good wineries all around there. You've got amazing eats. There's so much to do in Monterey, Carmel, but then the track is so unique in and of itself. Now, it's a little worn down, but who cares? There's history there. And you're on top of a freaking mountain that has the most majestic undulations in the track, that it's just mind-blowing what can actually be done at that facility. So yeah, it's between the history and the geography of it. Amazing.
Well, thank you for joining us this evening.
Absolutely. This was amazing. Yeah, I'll come on anytime with my Indy peeps.
Crash, I only have I have two questions. You say there's not a lot of stories. Do you think it's because the drivers don't put themselves out there as much? We're a small time podcast, but we have tried to get some of the Indy Next drivers on, any of the lower level drivers on, and they keep telling us that they won't come on. I don't see, like with Dirty Mo Media, that pushes NASCAR and its affiliates a lot. Dale Earnhardt Jr. doing his podcast, having his drivers on, and you see some of the personality in the drivers. The only time you ever see personality in drivers for IndyCar is right after the race. During the week, do you think the drivers or IndyCar needs to get these drivers out on more podcasts, more TV series, something to where you can they can get them out there and show who these drivers are, give them the personality, other than, oh yeah, I went around the track and this car was really good. I saw a little bit at Media Day here in Indy, some of the personalities of these drivers, and they have the personalities. I just don't think they're being shown off.
They're not at all. They are not at all being shown off. I mean, I wish that God, I can't even think of the name of it off the top of my head, what McLaughlin and Newgarden did for a while. More of that, please. We need personality pieces. And it's something we've been doing at Speed Freaks. We'll be celebrating 25 years this coming June. And it's something that we got a lot of flack at the beginning. We started in June, the year 2000. And we were basically out there in people's faces saying, fine what happens on the track, but we want you. We want your life. We want, you crap just like we do. You wake up and you do basically you live like we do. You're just another person, but tell us what makes you different besides being a race car driver. And boy, the PR people would push back, whether that was NASCAR or NHRA. No, actually, NHRA was on board with us right from the get-go. But IndyCar, NASCAR, we had some issues with Formula One at the beginning as well. Fortunately, media in general has turned around. And again, we might be able to credit COVID for some of that. And authenticity has become a mainstay. But I do still see resistance. Yes, in the IndyCar paddock, in the Indy Next paddock. But it doesn't mean we should give up. It means we should keep pushing because, research a story about a certain driver and say, I want to talk to Christian Lundgaard about the beers that he gave his team after his podium finish in Long Beach. And if they say, no, we don't want you to talk about that, then say, fine, give me something else to talk about. I don't want to talk about the race, but I want to talk about what's going to address something that people can relate to with Christian. And I want to put him on my podcast and I want to show it to the world. We've got to start pushing these PR people more. Don't be frustrated. We've been there, but it's up to us to just keep going. And it is up to IndyCar to say, guys, we got to do more. Let me tell you what NASCAR is doing. They're doing it, I believe, this year for the first time. It might have started in the later months of last year. They are giving their drivers an incentive. There's a point system that they have right now with all three series in which drivers that go on podcasts, that go on radio shows, that go on TV shows, anything outside of their regular NASCAR weekend scheduled interviews. Like, for instance, the top 10 have to come in after every qualifying, after they have something pre and post practice on Saturday, and then the top 10 have to come in after qualifying. Aside from that, anything else that they do that's not NASCAR assigned, they get points for. At the end of 6 months, whoever's the highest in points gets $1 million bonus. At the end of the year, another bonus goes out. Guys, can I tell you how many NASCAR drivers have come on our show this year versus other years because of this incentive program? And what are they talking about? They're talking about fun things, whether it's fishing or go-karting with their sons, or just, it's not necessarily about the race. But guess what it's doing? It's causing people to be like, oh, wait, he eats spaghetti just like I do, or he likes Coors Light just like I do. And there's that connection factor. And that's why we have people tuning into a boring 2-hour, 3-hour Bristol race, because they're connected to the drivers. So yes, it's on us as media, you guys, us. We got to just keep pushing these PR people. But IndyCar does need to, I don't know if that's a Roger thing or a Mark Miles thing, because I've been told numerous times that S rolls downhill in IndyCar and everything has to be approved through Roger. So if that's the case, I'm going to preach to you again, Roger. You got to let your drivers have more freedom, because we need to have the ability to tell these stories for people attached to a driver and then want to tune into them on a Sunday.
Yeah, I totally agree. Getting more of those drivers out there in the public. My last question really it has a little bit to do with driving and researching you. I came across this badass picture of you, and I would imagine it's your daughter standing at the start-finish line in your IndyCar Era Series shirts.
Oh!
How were you able to get that picture done? You know some people and be able to get there? That's an awesome picture, I got to say.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I've done it. So my daughter is going to, she's 11 now. So this will be her, I think technically, if I count her baby years, I guess this will be her 12th Indy 500. So ever since she was her first in the year 2014, we have done this brick pick. And I just stumbled on it with some of my friends was that ESPN? No, that was the NBC crew in 2014. Stumbled on it. And I just took her out saying, hey, I wonder if I can just get her on the bricks, me and this 5-6-month-old. And my friends at NBC said, yeah, just come on in. We're just doing our trials, just come on in and do this picture. Then I did it again the next year, and then I started matching our outfits, and it just became a thing. Now, I will say I haven't had an issue with this picture until last year. And here comes somebody from Penske Entertainment. Do you have the authorization to be down here, ma'am? And I showed him my media hard card, and I said, I'm sorry. I've done this every year, and I've never had an issue with it. He's like, you need to get approval for this from now on. And I'm like, really? I've created this tradition, and even drivers are always anxious to see the next outfit that I pull out with me and my daughter. And he's like, well, whatever. We'll need to talk about that next year. So I don't know if it's going to happen in the future. I'm going to try again, but it's been a nice run for at least 11 years. Let's hope the 12th works.
Hey, it's a badass picture, and we want to thank you again for coming on Crash.
Thank you, guys. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting the hard fight. Because of our passion, the sport will grow. damn it, it's baby steps right now, but it's growing. It's going. It has to. There's no other place to go but up. So as long as we all just keep pushing the same people in the series, keep shouting out to the executives to please fight with us, not against us, we will eventually get there.
Crash, again, this has been an absolute blast. Can't wait to have you back. Your passion and enthusiasm is definitely unmeasurable. And, you are more than welcome to come back anytime that you want. Hopefully this year at the track, we'll all be able to run into each other. Definitely look forward to that. And I know you got some stuff coming up, I think, on your show on this coming Sunday. You want to talk about that for a minute?
Well, this coming Sunday, we're taking off, oopsies, because of Easter and because NASCAR's not doing a race anymore on Easter like they have in the past couple of years. So this Sunday is going to be a best of show. This Sunday, and then, of course, Monday on the Racer Network. But the Sunday after that, and then the Monday after that, yes, we just got done having a very long chat with Tony Stewart today after his first NHRA Top Fuel Nitro win. And we delve into a lot of fun things with him and his baby Dominic and his wife Leah. And then just kind of how emotional this past week has been. We lost several good guys actually last week in NASCAR. Tony lost somebody with one of his sponsors this past weekend right before his win. And then his friend there's just a lot that's been going on. And it was a revealing personal. There we go. We get back to the personal aspect of things, a personal interview with Tony Stewart. And that is going to air on our Sunday, the 27th show, as he is doing the 4-Wide Nationals in Charlotte. And oh, damn, IndyCar again doesn't have a race, but NASCAR's back, NHRA's back. So yes, we'll have lots of fun with those series, and we'll still be talking some previews for IndyCar and Barber.
Crash, again, from all of us here, this has been an absolute blast, and we will definitely have you back maybe for our 500 show. We'll have you back for the full hour if you can fit that in. But again, huge thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us. And then for people that don't follow you on Twitter or X, where can they find your work at?
Yes, Twitter at Crash Gladys, Instagram at Crash Gladys, Facebook Crash Gladys, Speed Freaks on Twitter, X, it's at Speed Freaks. Our Instagram and our YouTube page is both official Speed Freaks. Couldn't we just all get the same thing? I mean, it's like, come on, people, who's stealing all these names out here? So yes, just send us an email, pitcrew@speedfreaks.tv. One of us will get back to you.
Great stuff. Yeah, definitely. Why are we stealing names? But that's here nor there. But again, Crash, thank you. Huge thank you for coming on, and definitely look forward to having you back in the future.
You bet. Thank you guys for asking me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Crash.
Thank you.
Definitely go check her out. She knows her stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see there, huge thank you for her for coming on. If you missed her interview, definitely go back and check it out, because definitely dropping nuggets, and hopefully, guys, Roger and Mark Miles were paying a little bit of attention, because I think they could learn a thing or two from Crash for sure. I know we need to we got to wrap this up, but we do have a couple other things we do need to go over first. Let's take a look at the point standings as they show. I know this is probably going to be a little hard for everyone to read. I tried to make it as big as I could, but the current up-to-date point standings as of tonight, Alex Palou, Kyle Kirkwood, Christian Lundgaard are your top three. Then it is Felix Rosenquist, Scott Dixon, Pato Award, Colton Herta, Scott McLaughlin, Will Power, and Joseph Newgarden round out your top 10. Following them, Alexander Rossi, Marcus Ericsson, Santino Ferrucci, Marcus Armstrong, Kiffin Simpson, Renus VK, Graham Rahal, David Malukas, Christian Rasmussen, and Stingray Robb round out your top 20. Then Connor Daly, Robert Schwartzman, Nolan Siegel, Louis Foster, Callum Ilott, Devlin DeFrancesca, and Jacob Abel round out your top 27. So that is your up-to-date standings when it comes to points. Thing on the agenda here, let's take a look at the race picks. And I know Josh is getting ready to boast a little bit because the last 2 weeks he has been on the king when it comes to race picks. So I will give him the floor so he can boast for a few seconds.
Not gonna boast. I just went with my gut. I wish he would have won the third in a row, but I'll take second place and on our way to trying to get my championship back from Michael over there.
Going with your gut, going with the guy that it was on fire up until Sunday. Going with your gut. Okay, Michael, anything to rebuttal?
Yeah, I guess maybe I'll just have to keep picking Pelot and so I can keep that championship.
Well, hold on. You guys, it's not like you guys picked somebody that was like started 10th. I think you guys started you guys picked second P2 and P4 you guys chose. So it's not like you guys chose somebody that was starting at the tail end and didn't win.
Valid point. We'll see how the season pulls out, but I find it hard to say I'm going with my gut when Pelot was on top of the IndyCar mountain for the longest time. Before we get into anything else, we do need to shout out a few sponsors here on the Push to Pass podcast. First and foremost, Always Ready 1776. For any patriotic apparel, headwear, and more, go check out Always Ready 1776, and you can find them on the World Wide Web at alwaysready1776.com. And if you do find something that you would like to purchase, make sure you use that promo code you see up on your screen, Push to Pass, for 10% off of your order. Also, Gettum Associates for all your home design and remodeling needs. Remember, it's Gettum Associates, and you can find them on the World Wide Web as well at gettum.com. If you browse their gallery and you do find a home design, build, or remodel that you do like and you want to use them, make sure you use that promo code that you see up on your screen there, Push to Pass, for $250 off any design service. A huge thank you both to Always Ready 1776 and Gettum Associates for being part of the Push to Pass podcast. All right, getting back into the show. I know we just have a few minutes left. Michael, I don't know if you have your article up or not, or ready or not, but would you like to preview the winners and losers from Long Beach last weekend?
Yeah, so busy week. You can keep an eye out for those. I should have those published sometime tomorrow. I will give you just a quick overrun of my winners and losers. Winners, I have Kyle Kirkwood. Pretty much obvious reasons, but make sure you check out the article. I'll have more in-depth info on that. Stingray Rob, the strategy that we had unfold. Christian Lundgaard, we pretty much talked a lot about him this evening. And then obviously the in-person attendance, which was, we kind of touched bases on. Losers, I touched bases on it a little bit with Joseph Newgarden. Colton Herta, I'll have a little bit more about it, but just, had a good weekend in practice, qualifying, and then kind of the race just kind of slipped away. And then Connor Daly, good run by Stingray and the strategy there, and he just didn't have a great race. Nolan Siegel kind of had some food poisoning, so, no one wants that. So that's why I left him there. And then obviously the TV ratings that we touched bases on this evening as well.
Yeah, definitely look forward to that article tomorrow. You'll be able to find that on the Push to Pass WordPress site, and then also over at yournews.com under the auto racing section. One bit of news that we have to hit on. I know I brought this up earlier by accident, didn't mean to, but this past week, the Iowa doubleheader that was always sponsored by the Midwest grocery store chain Hy-Vee. They have now found a new sponsor for that, as you see up on screen. It is going to be the Sukup IndyCar race weekend, July 19th through the 13th. If you don't know, the Sukup Manufacturing Company is Iowa-based. It is a large farm-owned producer of grain storage. Drying and handling equipment, like I said, will be the new primary sponsor of the Iowa doubleheader. I know a lot of things that revolve around that Iowa doubleheader has to do with some of the country acts and pop acts that are scheduled for that weekend. Now, it was announced that the Sukup company is going to continue with bands during that weekend, but their main focus is going to be on local and emerging talent instead of headlining names. So definitely something we'll have to keep an eye out for when that rolls around, when that announcement is made. So I think that that about wraps it up for this episode of the Push to Pass podcast. Before we get out of here, Michael or Josh, anything that you would like to add or that we may have missed before we get on out of here?
Not that I can think of, but it was a great show. I want to thank Crash again. We are slowly, steadily making this show a lot better, and it's got to do with Derik and Michael. And I want to thank both of you guys for your hard work and making this show a lot better. And we're getting a lot more views. We got up to 70 that I saw today, so I can't wait till we hit the stratosphere.
Yeah, great show. Crash was a great additive. Good job, Derik, getting her. Just one thing on that sponsorship from Iowa. Yeah, those are small things that kind of, I don't know, as a more old school racing fan, it just, I don't know, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. They come in and sponsor, which is fine. It's great that we're getting new companies involved, but it's such a small selling point. I mean, if I go to that race, I'm not looking for grain. So that sponsorship doesn't do much for traditional fans. So it's very interesting to see what their return on investment would be with that. But yeah, great show tonight, and we'll see we'll see how that return comes from them.
I think it'll definitely be interesting to see how that first weekend for the Iowa doubleheader with that new sponsorship definitely goes on the financial aspect of things. And like I said, that does wrap it up for this episode. First and foremost, I do want to thank Crash for joining us. We'll definitely get her back. That was an absolute blast. If you missed any of that interview, definitely go back to the replay of the show in its entirety. Go check that out. Also, huge thank you to everyone that tuned in from the YouTube platform. We're up to about 74 now. So the YouTube platform, X, or Twitter, and then Instagram. Huge thank you to everyone that tuned in on those three platforms combined. And last but certainly not least, huge thank you both to Josh and Michael for making this episode of the Push to Pass podcast, and all of them as best that we can. So for myself, Josh, Michael, and everyone else that makes up the Push to Pass podcast, we will be back maybe in 1 week or two. I guess we need to look and see. I think it's 2 weeks when the Grand Prix of Alabama, or Barber Motorsports, when that takes place. So we'll delve into that when that does come about. But like I said, for myself, Josh, Michael, everyone else that makes up the Push to Pass podcast, until then, so long, everybody.
To present our third place trophy is Joe Preciado, business manager of the Southern California District of Laborers at LaUna. Congratulations, Christian. Now we move on to our second place finisher. Let's hear it for Alex Palou. And here to present our second place trophy is Doug Gibson, Vice President of West Sales at Cuervo Tequila. Congratulations, Alex. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's welcome our Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach race winner, Kyle Kirkwood! And here to present the first place trophy is Lance Wolfer, Vice President of Auto Sales at American Honda.